could have called yourself, and so many languages you could have learned. And for the ebony man in America, you are the people that were betrayed by your own people and sold as a slave, but now it is your chance to be a pharaoh and possibly come back to your people, and even in Africa, and say, hey, nah. In other words, you enlighten yourself and you can see the problem through every ebony person in the planet and be able to come and lead them and show them, hey, this is the way. Because there's a reason for what had happened. And there's a blessing once you understand how it works. And you can resolve any grievance. This is only going to happen once you begin to understand that you have the key now. And no weapons formed against you shall ever prosper. And nobody will be able to claim to be your master. For now you are God. God or angel, aka the positive master. That's what I call it. You're either a positive master, a negative master, or a slave. Those are your three choices. The negative master is still a slave, but tries to create more slaves, but it's a slave in itself. So the only true master is the full positive master. So you can have anything or any kind of business, but without the understanding of the way, you will not succeed. You are much more than what you call yourself, especially a color like black. You could have called yourself a lot of different things. You know, you might have more red blood than you have skin color. You might have more bone than you have skin color. But to call yourself any tribe and any name and know that there is a spell allotted to it, an energy, a direction. But once you free yourselves, even the word ebony is better than to say black. Of course, there's other names, New Nubian or whatever name. There was a lot of African tribes that died off. You could have picked any one of those names, or just called yourself beautiful people and said the name in African. Or whatever you wish. It's something you need to decide upon yourself in that tribe. Or you're an ebony tribe that don't want to be involved with the other ebony tribe, you can call yourself another tribe. But a person without a state, don't let people tell you, oh, well, go back to your country. When odds are you're more indigenous than they are. So, no, you go back to your country, buddy. Again, knowing the way things work will give you a better understanding. But the mere fact that they said that, you don't have to say anything. They already gave out their hand the minute they said, go back to your own country. You know that's ignorant. The whole planet belongs to us, again. Like I said before, the only reason you have boundaries is because the other person has a different belief system. But once everybody, so you can have boundaries. In other words, have property lines from one country to another, and then educate yourselves so you're the higher echelons of life. But then once you do so and everything is perfect, it'll be best to go to your neighbor and enlighten them so they can come to your country, you can go to them, because there's no longer any animosity between one another. There's no threat of war. There's no threat of terrorism, because you all follow the same structure. So there's always peace. This way we can eliminate these lines and work towards benefiting one another. So if another state comes upon a lot of doom, they're able to move in a direction that they'll be taken care of by other people, knowing that we're all in this together. But so the separation is only an illusion until we can begin to educate the entire planet, as described in the Bible, the real education of what Yeshua wanted, the real completion, and not this. And again, we're going to go into even the ending, because a lot of people are trying to make things that aren't in regards to war. Again, everything is related. I'm separating it just to give you a full understanding of that particular important subject that we're discussing. But we are all much more than these tribes. But again, if people lack knowledge, then that's going to make them to behave in such a way that they're more animalistic as opposed to being more enlightened. Even animals don't want to behave the way they want. If we took care of animals, they'd have a better life too, as we were instructed to do, because this planet is our gift. And it lets us overflow, our cup overflow, but it could also be an empty cup because we're walking around here just trying to be greedy. Well, while one people is starving, one people is throwing away food enough to feed everybody else. But they have this illogical sense of understanding or saying, well, if you feed people, they don't want to work. And that's their own belief system that projects onto you just to give them an excuse to hoard and control and hurt and deceive. But once the full understanding is understood, you'll see that that was incorrect, the incorrect way. So you got to call yourself by different names, because a positive name for your tribe or for your individual tribe or group. We are like all fractals. Lower and higher and different gifts that are supposed to complement one another. We are all pieces of a puzzle, and the more we join with one another through the human instruction, we could actually then see what God has truly created for us and be able to bring about what they call the white dragon. And once your energy is activated, of course, or deactivated, some people choose death, but it'd be very rare. Once awakened, if you know you can go to the left and have steak, you're not going to go to the right and eat grass. Or, you could, or if you want to make it a vegetarian analogy, or you can go to the left and have a falafel, or go to the right and eat broken rock. But anyway, so with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you have a direction which is illuminated, which brings about good choice, good vibration, good activities, good self-government, good communication, good energy, good structure. God always allows the wicked to sow and reap. But as long as you're ignorant and follow ways of ignorance, they would have the illusion that they're not. But that puts your blinders on, because you don't know the knowledge that was given to you and stolen from you. But then you will go from true knowledge and knowing who you really are, which eventually in the future, again, they might find it unbelievable that people used to behave in a certain way. They'll be like, wow, people used to believe like that, Grandpa? They're like, yeah, people used They're not going to believe it. Because it's going to be so beautiful. I mean, as long as the way, and then all this negative energy will start to leave this planet, and then the positive energy starts coming in there. It'd be hard pressed to do anything but good. out of the pure disgust you're going to get when you do wickedness with enlightened people around. And this negative is the four negative matrix in which negative construct that was created in order for you to live in and die with. To destroy yourself, the self-hatred of self and others. The people that, because they believe in nothing, they fall for everything. So where are you right now in life? Who are you? Where are you drawing your information from, your structure from? Who's telling you this information? And how you're blocked in your growth. Because your growth is stifled, as opposed to being and following the way, which is unfathomable. It's only your beliefs are blocking you. Meaning even the words is not enough to describe such love and beauty that you possess and are capable of. So that we may learn and be like God, but be weary of those who preach blasphemy. And yes, say that you are preaching blasphemy when they have no love in them. They have no knowledge, no understanding. But they're regurgitating a book that I could read for myself. I don't need you to read a book for me. I could read my own book. I could see the words clearly and I could read them. What am I going to go to you to read me a book that you're not even deciphering the right way? You're just reading a book and you're telling me exactly what it says. I can do that. But you're not telling me the meaning behind the book. And then there could have been somebody screwed up a couple, 10 years back, 10,000 years back, and started writing something that in the Bible that it is giving you notes, like cheat notes, that's all screwed up. So he's telling you to believe something, but it's the opposite way of you should believe, because he's taking the figurative as literal and the literal as figurative. So then you're all screwed up. So now you're going to church for some guy to screw your head up. You're better off, if that's the case, and you're better off going to your own church. Which means, you become the head of your church, and when you go out, you preach the word, and it's if you're called to do it. Everyone is called for a different thing, but we should all be on the same page, or we could choose to be all on the same page. And then when you start to ask some of these people, they have no answers. Not only do they have no answers, somebody said, well, you just got to believe what I'm going to tell you to believe. That's it. I said, look, brother, you ain't even giving me no answer. And some people become jealous because other parishioners will be like, how come this guy knows more than you? And, out of being respectful, you just say, look, I'm going to go because this church is just going to break down if I'm going to be in here, because the pastor's he's just talking nonsense. Meanwhile, the parishioners are all sad, horny, lonely. You see a little girl, a young lady, never been married, like 28, and she goes to church every day, and she's looking for a man, and nobody's willing to help her find a man to help her to, I see a single person say, how old are you? Nah, they don't do that. They just let you, as long as you're giving your tithes, they can care less how you feel emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. So you're lost in this, in a house full of people claiming they love God, but you're empty because they're not filling you with what you need. I couldn't tell you how many times I go to church and I see so many lonely women. Lonely women, a whole mess of lonely women. And then if you try to talk to one of them women, there's some people that'll go out of their way to tell bad and lies about you just to keep you lonely. And I can see it. And then it starts talking all this crap. I'm like, man, let me get out of here. And then there are some people that want to control you. They'll be like, well, I know more than you, and they don't know anything. Which is okay to talk to them, and this way they learn. Because once you have the full instruction, they're going to know you know, and they're going to know they're going to come up wanting. So they commit crimes. Not all crimes against other people you get locked up for. Some people are just, it's crimes against humanity, but what they're doing is under the umbrella of free speech or whatever. They're continuing to use that, but this negative conditioning, and they use other people to help that along. And then once you get everyone else mixed up into it, some people don't even want to enforce the law because they're corrupt. And again, knowing who you put on top will help the whole structure of our society. So it's not a prison that makes the jail, but rather it's the prisoners inside that can make even the jail a heaven. As long as they're working together, they love one another, they get up and it's like, hey, what's going on? Let's forget all these gang signs that are looking more to divide other people. Once you know the human instruction, maybe there'll be a human instruction organization in the jail, so it'll be like again, only those who deserve that sort of treatment can be put together with those kind of people, and put the wicked with the wicked. So if you get two people that just want to fight one another, just let them fight one another until they get tired. Eventually they're gonna figure out, hey man, killing you ain't gonna help me because I'm gonna put somebody else in. So if they get along, it's better, behoove them. And once you see that in the worst parts of the jail where they're getting along, then the entire jail it'd be like a church. Again, even the prison guards will be whistling going to work. And when, there's other things that you could do to self-improve it. But, jail should be a form of way to either rehabilitate you or, if you refuse, just to keep you in that state of ignorance that you're in. But you'll notice that, and then you'll notice that, and you'll not let them parole out or to go out because they're still a menace to society and themselves. You play yourself when you commit crimes against your fellow man and God. And you're going against the covenant. It's a division factor within yourself and with others that continue on this spiral. Again, the higher the number, when you keep going higher, the knowledge is going to increase. So we're going to get down to philosophy and you name it. You'd be hard pressed. I don't want to say too much, but just continue again on the escalator or the following the human instruction. So you don't stereotype any other people. Even if they're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, or whatever, a lot of these people got a lot of screwed up understanding. So they claim to be religious people of God, but they're walking hand in hand with Lucifer, because the Bible, many of these Bibles aren't written for people to learn. They're written for only the wise to learn, but for the fools because it's written in black and white. The black is to deceive, and the white is to help you find the true vision. And if you're not following the path of the light, then you're following prejudice between other people due to the fact of their skin color, their height, their weight, their politics, their religion. Millions of reasons to divide other people. But there's millions of reasons that we can unite. One is more powerful and the other one destroys.